If you're an individual who wants to blend your passion for helping others and your passion for leading change, becoming a black belt fits perfectly with that. So I wanted to talk to you about that journey. And one of the first hurdles you have to overcome to certify is demonstration of your black belt expertise. So ASQ, the governing body, it's the credentialing body I use. There's other ones that are out there, but a large majority of them are going to require that you submit an affidavit or some documentation of project work. So for ASQ, that's the one I'm going to focus on because that's the one I know most about. That's where I've got my certification from. They require an affidavit if you can demonstrate 3 years of professional experience working within the body of knowledge. If you do not have those 3 years, they want to see 2 affidavits. And I don't think that's a deal breaker. In fact, you don't have to have any working professional experience to be certified. ASQ does not require it. And you don't have to have had another belt leading up to the black belt. You can just go straight to the black belt. So as you complete your affidavits, whether it's 1 or 2, you want to focus on 5 key components of the affidavit and really try to tell your story to ASQ so that as they're reviewing your project, they can see clearly how you use DMAIC, which is the framework that ASQ recommends for leading Six Sigma performance improvement projects. They want to be able to see how you've applied DMAIC to lead your projects. So I want to walk you through those 5 components of the affidavit. So that first component I've already kind of talked about is your project experience. So this one's really easy. It's just looking at your resume and your work experience and trying to understand what translates into working within the body of knowledge. So if you've done project management activity, if you've been on project teams, if you've sponsored project teams, if you played an analyst role, if you're in a quality improvement type role or quality assurance type role, it's likely that your professional experience does translate. So take a closer look at those things. You may end up only needing to document 1 project. Section 2 is the purpose of the project. It's trying to articulate why the project was important to the organization, to its customers, and how it aligned to the organization's strategic objectives and initiatives. So in this section, try to describe the problem from your customer's perspective and also talk about the consequences of that problem. What was the impact to the customers? Also, what was the impact to the business? So be talking about the cost of quality, any risk that was associated with the problem, real risk or risk that was assumed or potential risk that might have occurred had the project not be remedied. So you can be talking about your measurable goals and really what was motivating the organization to address it. As you move into the next section, section 3 is about your project approach. So this is your articulation of how you approached the project and how you facilitated the team through the DMAIC process in order to solve the problem. So you want to be focusing in on tools that you used. So early journey, as you went through bringing the team together and gaining support from leadership to activate the project, you can talk about your efforts to charter the work. As you then got the work underway and you tried to articulate what the goal was, you can talk about use of a SMART goal or some other tool that allowed you to articulate what the goal was, your intended future state. You can use a future state map even to kind of paint a picture for what good looks like. So you want to really be focusing in on tools here and kind of giving snippets of the key tools you used maybe to facilitate the team's aha moments, whether that's process mapping or going through data collection and analyzing for root cause, any brainstorming activities that you did with the team. The next section is all about your results. So you want to talk about the impact that you've had through this project. So how was your internal customers impacted? How was the external customers impacted? Did you see improvement in engagement? Did you see improvement in retention or customer satisfaction? You can also focus on process level metrics. So through your work, did you eliminate waste? Did you make the work more efficient? So is cycle time been reduced? Is it easier to perform the task? Is there less rework or scrap? or a confusion or communication breakdown that occurs across the process. So you can talk about your process and how that has been improved as a result of your efforts. You can also talk about your outcomes. So any financial return on investment that was realized as a result of your project, that's really important to highlight. You can also talk about cost avoidance or prevention or risk mitigation. Those are key aspects to talk about here as well. The last section is project verification. In this section is formal sign-off from your project sponsor or your process owner that are able to attest to your participation in the project. So here it's important that you get their physical signature on the paper. You do not have to send a hard copy with the physical signature, but you do want it to be in like black ink or blue ink so that it's clear to ASQ that it's a physical signature. ASQ will review it and make decisions on whether or not to accept it, and oftentimes you'll hear back from them within a week or so of completing your affidavit and submitting your affidavit as to whether or not it had been accepted.